You know, if you're a new ham, the options out there for handheld radios for your first radio can really be overwhelming. Some of them are super cheap, some of them are super expensive, and you're really not sure where to turn. Then you got to worry about, well, do I need extra batteries and accessories? Today, I'm going to bring you a radio that comes with everything you could possibly need to get started with, and a wireless programmer over there, it's Bluetooth, that will make your life so much simpler. Today we're taking a look at the Tidradio HDH6 and its wireless programmer, the BL1. Alright everybody, welcome back. So I want to review the radio. The radio was actually sent to me to review this product. I received that product about the programmer here about 6 months ago, and unfortunately I had no radios that would program with it. I do have a Baofeng UV5R, but it's a UV5R Plus, and that isn't included in the radios that this will program. However, the list is incredibly long of the radios that this will program. So I wanted to review the radio first as well because it's an incredibly amazing package for the price. You're going to get the radio plus everything else you need in this hard case. It's really impressive. And the radio is a little bit higher powered than those that you would buy, say, from Baofeng or any other company. And here's the kicker. I tested it. It is higher powered. A lot of these radios will say, oh, we're 10 watts, we're 15 watts. I believe the thing for this says about 10 watts. Actually, my observed power was about 7 watts on 2 meters and about 9 on 440. And that 7 watts was in 14652, right in the center of the band on the simplex area. So I was really impressed with it. You're actually going to get more power from this radio. It isn't a bunch of BS. So that's why I wanted to review the radio very quickly first and then show you how the Bluetooth programmer works with the radio. Now, the list of radios this thing works with is incredibly long, the programmer. Anything pretty much with that two-prong there, and you can go to the site. I will put a link to this product down below. You can go on Amazon where they sell these, and the list of radios is just incredible. So you probably can program your radio. However, if it isn't on the list, don't buy it and then say it doesn't work, because it probably won't work. Like I said, my Baofeng UV5R Plus didn't work with it because it's a Plus model. The UV5Rs work perfectly with them, as well as a lot of the new type accepted radios. So let's get into this radio really quick. I want to show you what comes in the package. In the package here, you're going to, of course, get the radio, a battery. The battery will become wrapped under here, the antenna. And, you know, for a decent antenna, for a little stock antenna, this thing isn't too bad. Of course, eventually I'm probably going to be using my Aubrey little fold-up. I think these are 18 inches. I love these antennas. They work very, very well. But to start with, if you're a new ham, that actually will hit your local repeaters. I was actually impressed at the repeaters I was able to hit with that stock antenna. So you're going to get your charging base here. I'm going to pull everything out as I show you. Okay, there's your charging base. Your plug for your charging base. Now the antenna will be off the radio, just lying sideways in there because it doesn't fit, so that's fine. Okay, you're going to get, now this is really a good part, an extra battery. We'll get into the batteries in a sec. I'll tell you about them. So that's really cool. Right off the bat, you have a backup battery. I didn't open this, but this is an earpiece kind of microphone deal here with a little push-to-talk button. Usually something that's very handy. I've worked ham radio stuff and events and stuff in loud environments. Let me tell you, having an earpiece or a headphone is invaluable when you're doing that, especially if you're new. You do have the programming cable here. Okay, I did program this radio with Chirp. I did put one frequency in using the Bluetooth programmer. Both worked flawlessly. You can use Chirp on this. It is no problem at all. Chirp will work awesome with it. And this is the programming cable. I did use this cable, popped it in there with the Chirp, and had no problem whatsoever. And you will get a lanyard strap as well. Plus, the case is actually a pretty decent case. You can carry it around with you. I would think something like, you know, maybe a bug-out radio that you keep packed in your vehicle. Having the case there so it doesn't get knocked around all the time would be pretty cool. I'm going to get the box out of the way so we can kind of move the accessories back. And I want to talk to you about the batteries themselves. The batteries themselves, they're 2020 milliamp hours. Lithium ion, up to 48 hours standby time. In other words, you just turn on the radio and listen. You got 48 hours standby time on that, okay? 12 hours working time under high power mode. Again, that's a duty cycle. It's not keying it down and keeping it keyed down for 12 hours. It's, talking, this is blah, 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 I'm here, on and off. So you get about 12 hours out of that. And again, that will depend on how much you use the radio and how much you're transmitting. You get about 24 hours working time total with the second battery. So that's really, really handy to have that second battery in there. This is FCC certified. It is type approved. If you go to the site where this radio is, you will see the certification number on there, and I did look it up. It is legit. So this is an FCC type accepted radio. For those of you that are concerned about that, I think it's kind of more the standard now with a lot of the Chinese radios. They are getting them certified, and that's kind of good to know that they're not going to be all over your band, all sorts of crazy stuff going on. So that is really cool. Now this does come with an in-depth programming guide, like I showed you with the cable. But it is very, very simple. Literally, download Chirp, plug that in. If you're on Windows 10, it'll find that driver for that right away, and plug it into the radio. Again, you're going to be plugging it into the side here, just like a Baofeng UV5R. They do say this is the updated version of the Baofeng UV5R. It kind of looks different, but I tell you one thing, it's built very, very well. It's put together pretty decently. One thing I do like is there's not a lot of extra junk on this. It's a very simple, let me turn it on. Very, very simple interface. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. Okay. Very, very simple interface. I was able to put all my local repeaters and simplex frequencies in here without any problem. Your menu is very, very simple to understand. You've got your squelch and your resets and all that stuff here. You can just run through here, your step. It's very, very easy to program. Another neat thing about this is that you can program it from the front. You can actually program this from your keypad. It's not difficult to program. So, like the radio, very, very handy. You do have 3 levels of power. You have your low, medium, and high. Medium, low was like about 1 watt. Medium was about 4. And like I said, when I tested the high on a meter, it was around 7 watts at 14652, kind of the simplex section of the band. So that's actually impressive. And on 440, on the simplex on 440, I got about 9 watts. Now, there are some people that have tested this radio and taken it out of band, and it does go out of band. That's something to remember. You don't want to transmit off your assigned frequencies. I think they took it to 162 or something and put it into a dummy load and tested it, and they got their full 10 watts that way. But we want to stay within our ham bands. One of the reasons Baofeng got such a bad reputation is people bought them unlicensed and started transmitting on public safety frequencies. You don't want to do that. You as a ham have a responsibility to keep within your band. All in all, I love the radio. But really what I want to get into today is this little guy here. This is the BL1, and this is the wireless programmer. So let me get it set up for you. Essentially, you're going to just charge it through here, and you're going to turn it on the side there, okay? And you're going to connect your phone via an app that is called OD Master. It's a little bit of a weird app because it's also a social media thing too, but it's also the programmer. One of the things I wish they would do, maybe if they're listening in the future, is drop the social media stuff and just give us hams an app to program. You don't have to be involved with the social media end of it. You can do absolutely nothing with that. You can ignore it and not use it. Don't worry about it. But it does have it in there, so just so you know when you look at it and you go, what the heck? You know, my friends, my contacts, you don't even need to use that. So let's get into that, and I'll show you how it works. All right, so I have the app here. I'll show you that in a sec. I just wanted to show you what I did. Turn on the radio. A lot of people have not turned on the radio, plugged this in and go, why doesn't it work? You have to turn the radio on. Point of order for this particular radio, you'll notice here that this little thing is sticking out there, the little cover, the protector. It still works just fine. It's just going to be sticking out a little bit, but it still works just fine. If you're concerned about that, you could probably just cut that off and not mess with it, and just put it in there when you need it. The first thing you're going to do with this is you're going to connect the Bluetooth here, and you can see it is connected. Okay. Then you're going to select your model, and I already have selected it, so we're good on there. And then you want to read, okay? But I do have to select the model again. I didn't do that I didn't do it the last time with TDH6, okay? And there you go. So you're going to have your read, you're going to have your programs and settings in this way. So you can see everything here, okay? All the settings for the radio are in this app. You also have your receive and transmit list. Now this will let you add your NOAA frequencies, your MERS frequencies, GMRS, and FRS. If you do want to add those to your radio, you can do that. These are all presets. We don't want to do that. I'm staying in my ham bands there. Now, the only other complaint I have about this is that each individual frequency has to be dealt with individually. This isn't like chirp where you see a list of all your frequencies down here. This is channel 0, which I don't have anything in. Okay, so let's move it to channel 1. Okay, and this is a local repeater here, 145490. There's our transmit frequencies, and these are all the settings. I have it on high, push to talk, ID is off, cancel. Alright, you can do all of that stuff in here. Okay, and you can put a name in if you want. Now, if I want to write this to the memory, since I already have it written, I'm not going to mess with it. I just hit write, and it would go over. So, the only unfortunate thing is you do have to kind of scroll through the channels manually. Here's channel 2, okay, 145130, and I will show you that's pretty much the same deal. However, it is really, really simple. If you've got nothing better to do and you're sitting around somewhere waiting, say for something to finish or whatever, or you're bored at work, whatever, you can program your frequencies in this radio, come home, and then connect it to your radio and be done with it. So that's pretty cool. You do have your functions on this end. So this will show you how you want this all to work. Okay, you can put your A band in either frequency hopping or the frequencies that is going to be there, your code, your frequency steps. I like to do that a little bit lower myself. I like 2.5. Your offsets are going to be 5, because the last thing I did was the 440 frequency on here. So you can do a lot of stuff with this, just programming it that simply. Like I said, software's a little bit, I don't know, it's not buggy. It works once you get it working. But it's kind of offsetting because it has that social media in there, so you're kind of like, wait a minute, I didn't sign up for this. And it doesn't sound like, you know, the name OD Master doesn't say Tidradio Programmer or Ham Radio Programmer. So you will have to search in your app stores for ODMASTER. I will put a link down below to this project down here, this product. Both of these are extremely affordable, especially for a new ham that's getting started. You don't want to spend a ton of money. This is definitely an affordable way to get started. And being that most people are more comfortable working with their phones these days, having this, or even on a tablet, having this like this with Bluetooth makes it just so much easier to deal with. You'll notice I just backed out of the app, and the radio lit up. So it is completely controlled by the radio, no problem at all, and you won't have any issues with it. But as far as the bargain goes on the radio, I gotta say the radio is an excellent bargain, especially with all these accessories. You'd spend that much just to get a Baofeng, and then have to buy all the accessories separately. Even the programming cable comes with it, and like I said, all you need is chirp, and you will be able to program your radio via the computer. But with this little feature here, and this is only 23 bucks, this little programmer, which makes it very affordable, you will be able to program your radio as well. So it's definitely a handy little app. So that is the Tidradio BL1 Bluetooth Wireless Programmer. This thing has a list. I mean, if I were to bore you with the list and read it all off, you'd be like, okay, turn off the video. It's got a list of mile-long of radios it can program. Again, if you want to see that list, click on my link for the BL1, and you can go over to Amazon. It will show you the whole list there. You'll be all set to program your radio. And it's something as simple as doing it on your phone. Really, really handy and easy to do. So I'm very impressed with the radio and the programmer. I would think maybe, you know, in the future, if Tidradio is watching, maybe you want to change your app around a little bit. Another thing, too, I did notice is the app has disabled, sometime, I want to say September, they disabled registering it on your phone. So you will need an email to sign up for, you know, to register for the app when it opens up. You're going to have to register. You put your email and a password in there, any password. I use an email that I don't use all that much, so if they end up spamming me with stuff, which they haven't, if they end up spamming me with stuff, it doesn't matter. I don't know why they disabled the phone registration. You used to be able to stick your phone number in and a password, and it would register you with a text, but it is disabled for now, so you will have to use your email to register the app. But hey, I mean, that's so much easier to do it on your phone. You can just sit here and take your time putting the frequencies in. So I love the radio. I love the app. I'm going to take this out now and turn it off. And that's that simple. The radio itself, give you a quick W6 UTC test. And I'm able to hit repeaters, no problem at all. Let's go for one that's a little bit out of range here. W6 UTC testing. And I mean, I hit that thing with no problem whatsoever. That's 1454900. A little bit harder to hit for HTs out here. My Baofangs will marginally hit it sometimes if I move the antenna around. Of course, with a bigger antenna, I have no problem with that whatsoever, and that's why I say I love these Abri foldable antennas. They're just awesome. And they do fold over. You've seen me review the big tall one on this, but you can fold them over like that. I wouldn't transmit like that. You may have a high SWR with that. But for storage, very handy. And they're not wobbly or loose. They're not going to fall off. And because they're not ridiculously long, they won't do much damage or any damage to your thing down there. So the radio definitely is a plus. The programming cable, Bluetooth programmer, definitely a great little thing. I am going to be keeping this radio in my vehicle as a handheld for me ready to use whenever I need it. Of course, I have 2 radios in the vehicle already mounted in the vehicle, but if I have to go on foot, I want to have something that I can have with me all the time and not worry about it. So the radio itself, $62.99. That's all the accessories, minus the cell phone and minus the programmer. All those accessories for $62. You really can't beat that. I'm going to let you know the first ham radio I ever bought. I passed my technician's test in Sunnyvale, California, ran down to Ham Radio Outlet in San Jose, and I think I spent $250 on the radio, and it was an Elenco dual band handheld. And then I needed the charger and the power supply and the this and the that. And so believe me, this has come a long, long way since those days. And that was only 1998. So for you guys to be able to get into ham radio at such an affordable price is really not bad. And the programming, the Bluetooth programmer, makes life so much easier. Again, this radio is very easily programmed from the front panel, I got to say. I put in one frequency that way. I believe it was the 4.9. But I have about 30 or 40 frequencies in here. And no problems whatsoever. You have your A and B switch down here. So if I want to switch to 440, I can. Or up here. And you have your VFO or memory button there. And entering everything using the menu code was super simple. This is really a solid, no frills, no BS radio. And the device itself works great. So I will put a link to both. Like I said, the radio is $62.99. That's $22.99. So $63 and $23. Not a bad deal. And definitely an awesome way to get started in ham radio. If you just got your license and you're like, what do I buy? What do I buy? Trust me on this one, folks. I like this better than the BF9 Baofangs. And this actually does have a little bit higher power, which is kind of handy. I mean, you know, the dB's gain from 5 to 7 watts is not all that much. And really, your HT is more about your antenna. And out here, where I lived in California, I could hit every repeater, no matter what, with 1 watt. And it was very, very kind of tricky when I moved out here, because I'm like, what the heck? It doesn't work like that out here. You know, so I had to get better antennas, bump up my power a little bit, and, you know, basically learn the new landscape out here. But I am very impressed with their gear. I love the programmer, and I like the radio. So that is the review of the Tidradio TD-H6 and the Tidradio BL-1 Bluetooth wireless programmer. Definitely cool stuff. I thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to check all our links down below, as well as our Amazon store. These will be direct links in the store. I'll put them below. But we have everything else in our Amazon store. I really appreciate those of you that shop there. Even if you're not buying anything in the store, just click the link and shop as you normally would. Really helps us out. Don't forget to check out our freeze-dried wholesalers link. I have some more videos coming up from his stuff that we're going to be trying out some stuff that he sent me to test. And that link down there will save you 15% on your order. Now is the time to get started stocking up food. I'm starting to see more and more videos from other preppers on YouTube talking about, wow, I went to Walmart and there's nothing here. I went to Costco and there's nothing there. And so we're starting to see the shortages again. It's just good practice to have stuff in your house being ready to go. And if you're interested in freeze-dried food, that's definitely the way to go. It's really, really good deal with clicking my link and saving 15% too. We also have our My Patriot Supply link. That's preparewithiridium.com, preparewithiridium.com. Excellent way to get started on your bulk food preparedness. Lots of good food there. We've done reviews on it, so you can check that out too. And our Thrive Life freeze-dried food store as well. Nothing to join if you don't want to join. If you don't want to be a reseller, if you don't want to be anything like that, you don't want to get involved in it, you just want to buy your food, you can do that. Becoming a delivery customer or a consultant will save you a little bit of money, but if you just want to test the food out, and you're not sure, you want to test the waters, you know, of joining anything, you can just order the food and try it out. Really, really good stuff. Really clean, pure food, just like the freeze-dried wholesalers as well. No additives, no preservatives, no junk. Anyway, folks, I thank you for watching. Stay safe and stay prepared.